Magnificent on this Saturday evening here in the month of June. The summer has finally arrived and Croke Park is indeed in tip-top shape for this first Leinster football semi-final. Good evening and indeed welcome to this magnificent venue, and we look forward to a great game between these two great neighbouring rivals, Kildare and Meath. I can tell you that both teams are lining out as selected. There's two additions to the Meath substitute bench. Ollie Murphy has been added on, and so too Barry O'Callaghan. So it all of the Leinster football semi-finals underway. Meath playing from right to left. Down towards corner forward, Dahi Regan from the St. Michael's Club that also produced the famous Martin O'Connell. First free, foul by Brian Lacey, given to Meath for a push on the back. Dahi Regan, just 22 years of age in his first championship season. This one dropping in. Referee immediately blows his whistle. Meath player inside the small rectangle before the ball arrived. Had to be a free out. Nice cooling breeze here for Sean Boylan and his Meath footballers. Into Murphy. First choice keeper now with Kildare. Kildare sideline ball quickly taken. Derek McCormack and Cormac Murphy. McCormack from Ballycallie. Darren Fay is down on the ground. Comes back to a Lily White man. Inside towards John Doyle, one of the more experienced members of this Kildare side. Hank Traynor deemed to have been fouling. I think I'd have a doubt about it myself, I must say.
That was a pretty handy one to get the game started with, Marty. Should be a point now for Kildare from very, very handy free.
The free taker is Patrick Murray from county champions Moorfield. Hits it well. First score of the match. Just 2 minutes played. Well, they were expecting 40 to 50,000. I think they'll be disappointed, but still Croke Park is fairly packed at the Hogan stand side, and a good atmosphere around headquarters. Here's Evan Kelly being chased by David Lyons from Clane. Possibly taking a little bit too much out of it, but he managed to squeeze it through to Charles McCarthy. Chance of a goal, and Enda Murphy gets down to it, and the first 45 of the match. Wonderful play here by Charles McCarthy, and Enda Murphy responded to the challenge in spectacular fashion.
That was a very good opening chance, Marty, for me there, and I'd have to say that Charles McCarthy had perhaps a better chance than he felt himself. Didn't really hit the ball with any great conviction, and it was an easy save for the Kildare keeper.
This 45 going to be taken by Trevor Giles. Just swinging to the left. First 45 and first wide of the match for Meath. Well, hopefully the summer has arrived, because it certainly is a beautiful evening here in the capital. Little or no wind. Just a nice cooling breeze, not favouring anybody at the moment. Hank Traynor looks around for a loose colleague. It happens to be Shane McCaig. Well cut out by Brian Lacey. One of two survivors of the team that won the Leinster Championship in '98. The other being the captain, Anthony Rainbow. John Doyle laying it off for Derek McCormack. Back to left half-back Carl Ennis, who can play as a forward as well and loves to go forward. Ennis. First wide of the evening for Kildare. He's a dangerous half-back. I've seen him play during the National Football League as a half-forward. Powerful player, just seemed to slice that at the finish.
Well, it's one of the contentious ones that the referees are having to deal with, Marty. He was obviously fouled going through there. You might have noticed his jersey was pulled twice. Referee gave him the advantage. Was it an advantage? Obviously not now. He's put it wide.
Right half back is Paddy Reynolds. Evan Kelly is the supporting player. Kildare exposed here. Evan Kelly, was he fouled inside the large rectangle? That to me looked like a penalty, but we'll see what the referee, Michael Hughes, decides.
No, I think it was just on the edge. I think the referee's got this one right. It'll be interesting to see it, certainly on the slow motion, but I think he's got it right, Marty.
Looks like Anthony Rainbow is going to be at least ticked off in his book. No yellow card for the right half back. And obviously the referee felt this was just a few centimetres outside the large rectangle. Dahi Regan sends it over the bar. Sides level in Croke Park. This is Evan Kelly here, fouled. 50-50 from that angle, Kevin.
Yeah, 50-50 from that angle, certainly.
Trevor Giles lays it back first from also O'Connor. David Crimmins from Meath County champions Dunshaughlin. Here's Graham Geraghty stepping inside. Surely this has to be a penalty.
It's definite.
No question whatsoever about the second one. Graham Geraghty just took off with a tremendous burst of speed, left the Kildare full back line dead, and there was no other option here but to pull him down inside the large rectangle. Penalty.
Absolutely spot on this time by the referee, and the danger man Geraghty straight away laying down a marker, took on the defence and accelerated away from his markers. He was certainly had goal on his mind.
Trevor Giles, 1996 Footballer of the Year, facing Enda Murphy from Leixlip. The referee blows the whistle. Here it comes. Beautifully placed. Meath are on their way.
Absolutely smashing penalty, brilliantly struck, and that could announce the arrival of Trevor Giles for 2003, Marty, and that's dangerous news for everybody. Brilliant penalty.
Beautifully placed, as you say, Kevin.
That might be just the lift he wants now to get his game back in the top form it used to be.
Sources down in the Royal County tell me that Trevor is beginning to show some of his old form at training, and that surely will boost the confidence. Right off Meath at your peril. Now here's the challenge to Kildare. Darren Fay anticipating well. Niall McKay, Cormac Murphy it is who got there first, and Murphy is fouled. Just watch this again, beautifully tucked away in the corner. Captain Darren Fay takes the free. Graham Geraghty again posing problems. Getting away this time from Mick Wright. Giles is available. Geraghty hits it, but it's just to the right and wide.
He's dangerous, Marty. Every time he gets it now, he obviously realises he has the pace of the Kildare full back line, and he has no problem taking them on.
Well, remember, the Kildare full back is only 19 years of age, and he's up against an experienced battler like Graham Geraghty. Great catch by Charles McCarthy. From another famous club in County Meath, Walterstown. In towards Dahi Regan. With him, Andrew McLaughlin. Onto the left boot. Enda Murphy just knocks it out for a 45. Well, Enda Murphy has had a busy time so far.
Marty, it's worth seeing just off camera that the gap between the Kildare half-back line and their full-back line, it must be 70 yards at least. They've pushed their half-back line right up into the midfield area, trying to get ball in early to them, but they haven't been able to get their hands on too much of it so far.
Second 45 for Trevor Giles. Again, it's tailing to the left. Has to be said, it's a very good start by the Meath men. 21 years the Meath manager, a remarkable record. Fine catch by Alan Barry. Giving it back to Anthony Rainbow. Goes down far as Derek McCormick. The support play is from Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. Paddy Reynolds comes back to help out his full back line. John Culnan from Drumree gives it long. And a race for Dahi Regan. And that's going to be a sideline ball for Kildare. Former Offaly manager, now back with his own native county, Kildare. Anticipating a good performance, quietly confident. Free for Kildare, just outside the 45. Clyde Fennan getting away from his marker. Miscued that completely. And again, Paddy Reynolds anticipates well. Lays it out to Evan Kelly, who's wearing number 10, but now almost playing at right cornerback. Back to Reynolds. Ships a fairly hefty shoulder there. The crowd at the far side didn't seem to like it, but it's Meath that have possession. Giving it long. Graham Garrity available over here to the left to Shane McCaig. McCaig brought down again. Referee this time decides it's not a penalty. It looked to me that it was, and that is gone over the bar off the boot of Dahi Regan.
I can assure you, Marty, that was another penalty. The referees missed it. The Meath have got the point, so they won't complain too bitterly, but it was certainly a penalty. He's taken out here.
This is Shane McCaig brought down inside, clearly inside the large rectangle, even from that camera perspective. And let's see it here. Yes, inside. That should have been a Meath penalty. Two points for Dahi Regan. 1-2 for Meath. Nicely picked up by David Crimmins. Going forward from centre half back is Hank Traynor. Not known for his scoring prowess. Here's a point he'll remember. Don't forget that he scored a spectacular goal in the drawn match against Westmeath. And that's a goal and a point now in the Leinster Championship of 2003 for Simonstown Gales, Hank Traynor.
An excellent one it was from a difficult angle, and for a Kittock as well coming down his bad side. Is great kick by Hank Traynor. Super point.
Challenge and Shane McCaig was unfair and illegal, so it has to be a free for Meath. Trevor Giles into the space. Meath full forward line tearing this Kildare full back line apart at the moment. Graham Garrity tried to flick it on to Evan Kelly. Garrity is available once more. Here's Evan Kelly. Oh, wonderful block down by right cornerback Brian Lacey, who got injured in the process. And remember, Evan Kelly and Brian Lacey had a clash in the league encounter in Navan when Brian Lacey was sent off. And Lacey is injured. Former Tipperary footballer, but just look here for the skill of the block down. Wonderful, tenacious play by Kelly, but on the foot, Brian Lacey. Great block down by Clyde Fennan. Chance of a point. Well taken. He is the danger man for the Lily Whites. And Meath will be critical of that defensive play that allowed Fennan to get the breaking ball here and score Kildare's second point.
Fennan has certainly developed so much, Marty, over the past few years. A really dangerous forward now, and lots of pace too. And very comfortable taking that point. Just pitch away, try and get another point back on the board. And they've started slowly. They're beginning to settle now, I feel, Kildare. And the gap isn't too much at this early stage of the match, but they need to get a bit more balance in their forward play. I just feel they're very broken up. The distance between the two lines is a lot, and you know, they need to get their shape and get a few more attacks in.
This injury came when Brian Lacey blocked Evan Kelly's effort at goal, and Tyke Finnan getting in on the block down on John Culnan. Lacey returns to cornerback. Touchdown is by Alan Barry, but it's Paddy Reynolds again that's acting as a sweeper there. Moss O'Connor, fullback on the minor team that lost the All-Ireland final last season to Derry. Killian Brennan, same club as his captain, Suncroft in County Kildare. John Doyle. Possibly a foul on the possession there by John Doyle, but Charles McCarthy intercepts. Referee gives the Meath midfielder the free. Gives it out to his midfield partner, John Culnan. Graham Garrity bringing David Lyons out around the 65-metre line, and Lyons no doubt is in trouble here, and Kildare have a problem from their perspective at full back. Garrity is showing well for the ball, and his running off the ball is also quite admirable. Trevor Giles to take this free. Into Shane McKay. Makes space, fooling McWright. But the space not availed of. 3 wides for Meath in this match. This was a chance. They had the time. Didn't quite take it. Killian Brennan. Look at the running by Carl Ennis from Maynooth. And Ennis is creating space here. Drives this in. Cormac Sullivan under pressure from 2 corner forwards. Darren Fay is there to take the pass. Moss O'Connor. Trevor Giles back there helping out, as is Paddy Reynolds. Darren Fay switches the direction over towards Evan Kelly, who's obviously given the freedom of the pitch by his manager, Sean Boylan, because he's everywhere. Down towards David Crimmins. Dunshaughlin and Leinster club champions. Clubman, good ball inside. Enda Murphy has the situation under control. David Lyons makes himself available, and Kildare initiate another move. Killian Brennan. Nice, close ball control. Kildare just playing a little bit too comfortable back there, just taking their eye off it. Here's a chance for Trevor Giles in towards Shane McKay. The support is from the midfielder, John Culnan, and Enda Murphy saves again. Whatever about the quality of the first save, but the second save was top class. Well, Enda Murphy is now undoubtedly first choice goalkeeper for Kildare. And just to prove that, here's a wonderful point-blank save. Came off his line, alert to John Cullan's run through the centre. Murphy did very well. Meath dominating half-back line, midfield. Look at Hank Traynor laying it off. Inside, there's a chance of another goal, and Evan Kelly saved on the line by Brian Lacey. And Enda Murphy has it again. The Kildare defence is being torn apart, exposed quite dramatically by Meath. This was a chance for Meath. Murphy was beaten, stopped on the line. Wonderful defending. Andrew McLaughlin, I think, has to be given the credit.
Marty, you have to say the ease with which Meath are walking through the Kildare defence is big trouble now for the Kildare sideline to get corrected. David Lyons under huge pressure there. Enda Murphy's keeping them in the game. Another goal line stop again. We can see it again.
This was a point-blank save on the line. Murphy was beaten. McLaughlin made his debut against Sligo in the National Football League. Obviously impressed the Kildare selectors.
Great stop.
Long ball down towards Ronan Sweeney. He hasn't been very much involved in this opening 20 minutes. This is dropping in and over the bar. Well, nobody quite expected that from Ronan Sweeney. He is a forward of great potential, but it looked like it was just a lob rather than a shot. Let's just see this again.
Yeah, he stood up with the ball, kind of inviting Paddy Reynolds, and then Paddy, while he seemed to have him, then lunged at the last minute, and that gives Sweeney the chance to step inside and swing a beauty. It's a lovely score for Kildare.
Well, with 20 minutes gone, it's really been all Meath. They could have at least 2 or 3 more goals on the scoreboard. And despite that, Kildare only trailing by that Trevor Giles penalty. Ronan Sweeney getting more involved. John Doyle heading it on the ground. Picked up by Charles McCarthy. John Cullen down towards Giles. With him is Carl Ennis. Good dangerous ball, and once again it's the Kildare full back line and Brian Lacey on this occasion that's averting the danger. Challenge by Crimmins, a hefty one. But Kildare have so many problems, it's hard to know where they can begin. Meath dominating this opening half. John Cullen challenged late by Killian Brennan. The linesman indicates it is a Kildare ball. John Doyle marking by Meath. A little bit lax here. Great ball in for his Tadhg Fennan. Nice skill, but he overcarried. And the referee is correct here. And the level of support that he required at that particular moment was simply not there.
That's the point I was trying to develop earlier on, Marty, that the distance between the half line and the full line is so great that when ball is won inside, the runners aren't coming on shoulders. He's overcarried the ball there, certainly, and it free out.
Evan Kelly going back together here. Tadhg Fennan continued with his challenge and won it easily. Good ball. Cormac Murphy is there, keeping an eye on Derek McCormack, corner forward. The pass to Niall McCaig was not a good one, really. But Meath have it with Paddy Reynolds. Charles McCarthy getting by Killian Brennan. As Meath surge forward again. This time, David Lyons gets to the ball first. Killian Brennan. Gets it back for his Mick Wright. Plays his club football with Selbridge. This time it has to be a free for a foul on Anthony Rainbow.
Well, they're inviting a lot of that, Marty. They're over-carrying the ball, half-passing over and back their half-back line. Meath will eat them up if they keep at that.
Cormac Murphy knocks it down for Paddy Reynolds. Trevor Giles again. Back to his left half-back, Tomás O'Connor. And Paddy Reynolds, so involved in this opening half. Down towards Dahi Regan, who'll take on Andrew McLaughlin. McLaughlin has to watch the left foot. Good block down by the cornerback. Reading the game well. Carl Ennis, Killian Brennan. Down for John Doyle. Kildare growing in confidence. The long ball up towards Tadhg Fennan. It's 2 against 2 here. Fennan latches on to the breaking ball. He curls it and it's gone over. The second point for Tadhg Fennan. Kildare very much in this game, despite in terms of possession, Meath are winning the battle quite easily.
Well, he was the big outsider there, Marty, smallest man at the 4, but he was back up on his feet, got the break and lobbed the beauty.
Well, Nolan must be a little bit happier now. Kildare boys are beginning to show a bit of character. Brian Lacey. First touch left him down, but gathered it second time. Fouled. Extra 13 metres for descent, which Rainbow will take quickly. In towards Tyke Fennan. Jersey being pulled. Referee allows play to continue. This is Alan Barry from the Sarsfields Club in Newbridge, lobbing this one in. Despite being fouled, young Alan Barry did very well. And this is a man who has replaced Dermot Early, who's a huge loss, and over the league since his introduction against Cavan has grown in confidence, and despite being fouled, good quality point.
And the point to make now is there's only a single point in the whole game after me. They've dominated the opening 25 minutes of this match.
Push on the back by Barry. Free to Meath. Shane McKaig's intended pass, not a good one, down to Trevor Giles. This is David Crimmins. Giles again. Challenged by Carl Ennis. Referee claiming Giles took too many steps. Free to Kildare. The knockdown by Murphy is a good one for the 19-year-old Tomás O'Connor. Paddy Reynolds again. Absolutely everywhere here in Croke Park. Charles McCarthy. Graham Geraghty. Steps by Brian Lacey. So easily. They converge on him, and Murphy saves again. Back outside towards Shane McKaig, and that is sent wide.
Well, there you have it again, Marty. Geraghty is causing all sorts of trouble, but they're not putting the scores on the board, and a great save from Enda Murphy.
But just look at this. Graham Geraghty, and half of Kildare seemed to converge on him. He creates so much space, but it was left to Murphy that seemed to get the touch. Let's just look at it from this perspective. Look at that, 4 defenders, and the block down was by the keeper. Centre back, Mick Wright. Cut out this time by Niall McKaig. Tomás O'Connor, poor ball. Intercepted easily by Anthony Rainbow. John Doyle, Alan Wood. Tries to get by Tomás O'Connor. Referee allows the advantage. Here's Anthony Rainbow, the right half back. Shoots and sends it over the bar. What has happened to Kildare? They seem to be asleep for the opening 20 minutes. They're now levelling Croke Park after 27.5 minutes. Look at the tenacious play here of Anthony Rainbow, captain, leading by example.
And that's a massive score to get. You know, this particular comeback is now complete. It's level pegging. A great score by Rainbow. You know, fell on his backside, got up again, and banged it over the bar.
Meath have been dominating so many areas of the field that at one stage you thought Kildare had no chance of getting back. But there's a bit of character, a bit of spirit in Kildare. David Lyons now seems to be playing a cornerback on David Crimmins. Brian Lacey now at fullback for Kildare on Graham Geraghty. Sideline ball, Kildare. Quickly taken by Patrick Murray. Gathered by John Doyle. Skipping away from Tomás O'Connor. Wonderful speed. The finish is over the bar.
And he's been a big part of the Kildare fight back, John Doyle, Marty. He's having a cracker of the last 10 minutes. Great chance there again. Great score.
You just have to make the point, these are amateur players, but the speed and the fitness is really impressive. Look at this by John Doyle.
I think he had goal on his mind there. It's a great score for me, the great point. He hit it really hard. Could have been a goal.
Kildare lead in Croke Park. An opening half dominated for so long by the Royals. The first of the Leinster semi-finals has sparkled into life. Here's Patrick Murray, scored the opening point from a free. And that's all going to be put down to his name at the moment, as that ball is well wide. Second wide of the game for Kildare. This positional switch, Kevin, has worked by Pádraig Nolan, putting Lacey on Geraghty. It has stabilised the defence somewhat.
Well, I mean, he had to do something. Essentially, David Lyons was really struggling with him. And once you have Geraghty under the cosh, you have a great chance of getting a game plan going.
Here's Anthony Rainbow going for his second point. An unbelievable comeback, really. No matter what rule book, no matter what strategy that you would develop, you just couldn't see Kildare coming back in the first half. But they've been led by their captain, and Kildare have shown great character in this Leinster semi-final.
Well, this can happen sometimes to a team, Marty. You know that the chances came so easily and so regular to Meath. They may have just lulled themselves into a false position of, well, we can do this anytime we want. But Kildare now have got their 20 minutes, 15 minutes on top, and they're really using it.
Great catch by Alan Barry. Plays with Sarsfields down in Newbridge, one of the strongest clubs in County Kildare. Barry again, back to Tyke Fennan, looking at options. One of them is Rainbow. This is Stuart Mackenzie-Smith, steadying himself, but this time sending it wide. Four minutes to half time, and I'm sure Sean Boylan will be wondering if that's the way the scoreline remains, how this could have happened, because they look like sure winners.
Well, they've just taken the eye off the ball, Marty. It's as simple as that. They're not giving it the same concentration as when this match started. And when you get into a position like this, sometimes it's hard to kickstart yourself back into the match.
Absolutely. Two Kildare players go up for it. Killian Brennan. The referee is inclined to allow the players to get out of trouble as much as possible, which allows a free-flowing game. Derek McCormick with Cormac Murphy. They keep their composure. Patrick Murray fouled, and a chance for Kildare to stretch their lead. Good play here by Murray, who was willing and indeed confident enough to take on the Meath defence.
And you notice so many of the free takers in the last week tour, Marty, begin to put the ball on the floor.
Lesson learned. A chance here to put 3 points between the teams. John Doyle with his second point of the evening. Kick out by Cormac Sullivan. Fine catch by Mick Wright. Laying it off for Patrick Murray, who switched wings. Stuart Mackenzie, oh, the idea was really good. Kildare still have possession. This is Ronan Sweeney. This is Kildare on a roll. Kildare fans shout for joy. Meath fans stunned into silence. Ronan Sweeney with his second point.
And again, very well taken, Marty. A really good move. And they needed a point off that, because all the ideas in the early part of the attack were very good. The flick by Mackenzie looked like it had opened up the play for Fennan, and they finished it off with a score. They punished the Meath defence with a very good score.
Two minutes of added time to be added on in this opening half. Anthony Rainbow is clearly fouled. Free to Kildare. A knockdown is a nice one. Pike Fennan, there's a chance of a goal by Stuart Mackenzie-Smith, but it just didn't fall nicely for him. Back there is John Cullinane. Cormac Sullivan changed the direction of the play. The pass is not a good one for Tomas O'Connor. Under pressure here, Cormac Sullivan. Derek McCormick is the 13, but it's Paddy Reynolds that comes away with it. He fairly was well hit there coming out, but he wins himself a free, and well disciplined as well. Left half back, Carl Ennis. Right half back, Anthony Rainbow. Can Meath do anything to stop Kildare at the moment? Cormac Sullivan has the time to lay it off far as Darren Fay, his captain. Trevor Giles. Surprisingly, Meath could do with a score before half-time. Graham Geraghty steps aside the challenge of Mick Wright, but he showed too much of it. And beautiful rob by Mick Wright. And Kildare now at control. I've heard of two halves, but two halves within the first half is quite unusual. Free to Kildare.
Just gone back to the play, Marty, earlier on. It was an excellent chance for Stuart Mackenzie-Smith in the previous one. This is an excellent chance, just popped across. This is a goal chance, and if his first touch is good here, he's really in on goal. Unfortunately, didn't, lost the chance. Another free back now for Kildare, though.
Left half back is Carl Ennis. Plays either centre back or centre forward for his club, but he played wing forward for Maynooth in their Sigerson Cup campaign. And here's a young man who never played minor or under-21 football, as that is sent over the bar. John Doyle, the scorer. The tactical switches that Pádraig Nolan has introduced seems to have paid dividends, particularly in defence. The forwards are running impressively off the ball, but it's down in the defence that Kildare have made the changes that have worked.
Well, it's a little bit early, I suppose, for us to be talking about Meath being out of a game completely, but they have a big mountain to climb in the second half. I know they're favoured for these comebacks, but they need to get their game going again.
Referee Michael Hughes from Tyrone blows the half-time whistle. It looked like Meath were on their way when Trevor Giles scored a penalty. In the opening half, in the opening 20 minutes, it was all Meath. They could have had at least 3 more goals. A fact that should have pleased their supporters, but Enda Murphy was in brilliant goalkeeping form, kept them in it. Few tactical switches by Enda Murphy's manager, Pádraig Nolan, meant that Kildare got back into this game. And at half-time, amazingly really, it's Kildare that lead. 11 points to... Ball slips by, picked up by Paddy Reynolds. Intercepted again by Anthony Rainbow. John Doyle gives it long, down for Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. He's looking for Tadhg Fennan. Good defending by Fennan again, latching onto that loose ball. He's fouled, surely, but the referee says no. I would question that particular decision. Punched up. Good solid play by Kildare. Derek McCormick gets a fist to it, but doesn't gather possession. Hank Traynor setting up Evan Kelly. In towards Daithí Regan. With him is Andrew McLaughlin. Chance of a goal. Takes his point. When Daithí Regan skips away from his direct opponent, you're certainly reminded of the great Ollie Murphy. Has the same sort of run in and the same, definitely, finish. As you look at him here, chance possibly of a goal here.
Absolutely, Marty, that's a goal chance. I mean, what that wouldn't have done for Meath's fight back if he had kept that one on the floor. Great goal chance. And actually at the other end, this is the free we were all talking about. Surely he's fouled there. That's the way the game goes sometimes.
John Doyle. Definitely foul this time, and the referee gives the decision to the Lily Whites. All-star in 1998, Anthony Rainbow. And there's Darren Fay and Stuart McKenzie, latching out at Darren Fay. And if the umpires saw that, well, then I could well see Stuart McKenzie going for an early shower. Just a bit of jersey pulling, but there was a definite contact. Let's just continue on with the play for the moment. Trevor Giles, look where he is, almost a corner back, as Meath build from a defensive position. John Culnan, terrible ball for a forward along the turf. Comes to Anthony Rainbow again. Charles McCarthy over towards Evan Kelly. Graham Geraghty hits the deck off the ball, and he's looking at the linesman as we continue on with Evan Kelly. And Killian Brennan undoubtedly bringing down Evan Kelly, and that has to be the minimum of a yellow card.
Well, the temperature is definitely rising, Marty, all over the field now. We've had a few incidents off the ball and on the ball. This is a definite yellow for Killian Brennan.
And it's noticeable that that is the first yellow card of the evening. But just have a look at what was happening between Stuart McKenzie and Darren Fay. Here's Fay pushing in, and there was the latch. And the umpire should have consulted the referee for that.
Well, in fairness, Darren Fay didn't make much of it. There was a bit of contact. I don't think it was dreadfully harsh. Both of them were at a bit of tangling.
And as many a player would have feigned injury and gone down, but not Darren Fay. As corner forward, Dahi Regan gets his 4th point of the evening. The fight back, the famous Meath comeback, could well be on its way. And there was another off-the-ball incident involving Graham Geraghty. He looked at the linesman at the far side, but there was no acknowledgement. Ronan Sweeney, 2 points in the first half. John Doyle, he's such a great worker at centre forward. Killian Brennan, over towards Derek McCormack, with Cormac Murphy beside him. John Doyle, and remember, he was the one who actually gave the pass. Gets by the challenge of Trevor Giles. Takes too many steps there, hops it twice. That's not allowed. Free out to Meath. And you can't question John Doyle's work rate, that's for sure. Kildare have found the momentum, but they lose possession easily here. Here's Evan Kelly. And the referee blows the whistle, and Meath are certainly going to be frustrated by this decision, because the Kildare man is down injured, and Evan Kelly having a word with the referee from Tyrone.
I didn't see it, Marty. I'm not sure, was it just an injury or was there a bit of contact?
Ronan Sweeney seems to have picked up an injury. And once again, Eamon O'Mara-Hertig, the Kildare physiotherapist, is in. Graham Geraghty is operating around the 13-metre line. The free is quickly taken to Charles McCarthy. Good defending. Excellent play by David Lyons. Killian Brennan giving it to his captain, Anthony Rainbow. Stuart McKenzie Smith needs the support of John Doyle. It's there, but it's the quality of the pass, but Doyle just got a touch to it. Going back to gather is Cormac Murphy. The 15 is Ty Fennett. Darren Fay, Cormac Murphy, and John Culnan. Good work here by Mick Wright. Back to Killian Brennan. Doyle, Brennan, brilliant combination. Chance here of a point. It's lobbing over the crossbar. Stuart McKenzie Smith with his first point in Croke Park this evening. Kildare 12 points, Meath 1-5.
And this is a super point. Great interchange of passing. Killian Brennan at the heart of it all. And there's a lovely finish. Lovely and tidy, just what Kildare want at the moment to get their second half campaign off.
Once again, it's John Doyle. Ronan Sweeney giving it long in towards Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. Tyke Fennan is to his right. Arriving now is Patrick Murray. Onto the left boot, and it's gone to the right and wide.
Oh, that one will hurt him, Marty. That was, again, a lovely bit of work, lovely foot pass into the corner, and you'd expect Tyke Fennan to put those over in his sleep. But their chances, they really need to be taken just to keep that gap nice and comfortable.
When I saw these teams play in Navan during the National Football League, you could see Pádraig Nolan's influence. The short passing game wasn't as dominant. The long ball was being used and employed much more often. And it's working here.
And great to see it too.
Sideline ball, Meath. Just 4 points between the teams. Charles McCarthy. Just what the Meath manager Sean Boylan and his fans needed. It's the first point for the big midfielder. This is a man who's making his name this season, but he's been on the extended panel for Sean Boylan for the last 2 years. Just 23. Oh, great catch by Ronan Sweeney. In towards Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. There's the long ball. The overlap is provided by Patrick Murray. Stepping aside, one challenge, two challenges. He scored the opening point from a free, and this is his second from play.
And Mackenzie-Smith has given a lot of trouble now to Darren Fay at the moment. He's won the last 3 or 4 contests between them and offloaded beautifully there. That's a smash and score.
Cormac Sullivan won an All-Ireland in 1999 in his first championship season. Trevor Giles. 2 Kildare players around him. An extra 13 metres for kicking the ball away. Giles. Nice overlap, and it's Graham Geraghty. He can finish, but the pass for Evan Kelly was not the right option. And wonderful defending by Andrew McLaughlin. But Geraghty had actually opened up the Kildare defence here. Hank Traynor keeps the pressure on. Great effort by the number 6, but it won't curl sufficiently well enough.
And that's not the first time that we've mentioned Andrew McLaughlin when it came to big defensive plays. He's been involved in 2 or 3 great intercepts, blocks, taking a ball off the line earlier on. Here it is again. Gertie is definitely looking for a goal here. He's going to link up, and here comes McLaughlin out of nowhere. He's got the ball away beautifully.
Oh, fine catch again by Ronan Sweeney. Brilliant fielding. Anthony Rainbow took the wrong option. Communication signals went astray on that occasion as the forwards had gone in the other direction. Evan Kelly finds left half forward Shane McKay. Good block down again by Mick Wright. His father, who won an All-Ireland with Offaly, would have been proud of that. Anthony Rainbow laying it off. It's all white jerseys around Croke Park. John Doyle. Shane Mackenzie-Smith gets away from left half back. Tomas O'Connor, he has a chance of a goal, and the finish was disappointing.
Showed a lot of pace there though, the way he just left him for dead. Another great goal chance.
Not bad for a man who's only playing in his second championship match for Kildare. Made his debut against Longford, but he'd be disappointed with the finish here.
He will, he will.
Watch out for the blocking skills of centre-back Mick Wright. Diving on the kick of Shane McCaig. It's all Kildare at the moment. Ronan Sweeney. It's an easy ball for Cormac Sullivan to just escort out over the end line.
And they're very, very lazy, crazy, silly wides. There's no requirement for it. Could have worked that ball into a better position, maybe look for his free or whatever, but they're shooting from an awkward angle and dribbling it out into the scaffolding under the hill, as it were. They're crazy wides.
I think actually he was claiming to the referee that a Meath player got a touch.
I hope he did for his sake.
Hank Trainer, courageous, winning himself a free. Taken by Trevor Giles. The support is from Evan Kelly. Back down towards Shane McCaig. Evan Kelly again, but the referee blown his whistle for a foul on David Lyons, and that is the correct decision by the official. The long ball again, aimed at Derek McCormack or Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. But on this occasion, Darren Fay has the situation under control. Tomas O'Connor. Graham Garrity knocking it back for Charles McCarthy.
And look how deep Trevor Giles has played this second half, Marty. Like one of the dangerous players, he really has to get up close to the goal and put pressure on.
And under pressure, Meath concede possession. It's frustrating for Sean Boylan. Meath thinking about introducing a substitute. Nigel Nestor and Richie Keeley. Nigel Nestor and Richie Keeley being introduced.
I see John Cullinan coming off, Marty. Just to show how tough sport is. He had a cracker down in Portlaoise in the replay. Super match. And now his day is done.
Also gone off is Shane McCaig. Confirmation of the substitution. Patrick Murray stopped in his tracks illegally. Free in for Kildare. This is Patrick Murray here. And between Evan Kelly and Charles McCarthy, they brought down the Kildare man. John Doyle has scored 3 points in this match. Sends this one wide, however. 7 wides for Kildare in this game. But they've scored 13 times. A substitution by Sean Boylan concedes that they have problems, particularly around centre field, where Nigel Nestor usually operates. Richie Keeley will add a new dimension to the attack. Derek McCormack with Cormac Murphy.
Oh, they're not going to be happy with that particular foul. It's I don't know, one of those hard ones to call. I'd call it a soft one. But it's another scoring chance. And Kildare have missed a few now from these positions. They'd want to be tacking on these frees. As I said earlier on, they give the comfort zone.
This looks like it's over the bar. It is. Patrick Murray with his 3rd point. 2 from frees, 1 from play. Killian Brennan, magnificent fielding. Quick delivery in, but Brennan was fouled late by Evan Kelly. So from where the ball landed, a free for Kildare.
And this is one of the big problems, Marty, they're having. Ronan Sweeney and Killian Brennan, they're catching all the big ball, all the primary possession. That's what's driving Kildare on into these good chances.
Well, they said that Kildare were in transition, but we forget perhaps that Kildare were in the Leinster final last year. John Doyle hits this well, but it's not going to go over the bar. Nigel Nestor clearing it down. Hank Traynor. Nigel Nestor clearing it down. Hank Traynor going for the long ball. Little or no other options available, and this is brilliant fielding, but the referee had spotted a foul for some pushing, so free to Meath. And there's an extra 13 metres for some descent, which is silly.
I think it was Anthony Rainbow actually just got the ball in such a rush to catch his man. He just threw it anywhere he could just so he could pick up. But this made it a lot easier for Trevor Giles, and you'd expect him to get this one.
An important kick for Meath. A vital one for Trevor Giles. And he sends it over. Goal and a point for the man from screen in this Leinster semi-final. 4 points between the teams. Breaking ball picked up by Ronan Sweeney. Alan Barry's intended pass goes astray, picked up by Richie Keeley. Anthony Rainbow tries to get it back for Azenda Murphy. The goalkeeper, a little bit of pressure here. And the referee claims that the goalkeeper took too many steps. Meath want to take it quickly. Murphy won't let go of the ball. And you could well see a yellow card here. No question, he did take too many steps.
He did, and the referee is penalised him by putting it straight in front of the goal now for holding on. I see what Rainbow was trying to do. He was trying to get the ball back to him quickly. It was a bit short, put him under pressure, and the Meath tackler was in on him like a shot.
Easy point for Trevor Giles. It's back now to 3 points. A crowd of almost 30,000 that came to Croke Park have certainly enjoyed this Leinster semi-final. Wonderful skills, great passion. And by no means would you rule out Meath snatching victory here. Dahi Regan comes back to Trevor Giles. Kildare defending in numbers. Charles McCarthy lobbing this one in, and it's a terrible giveaway. Kildare come away with it. Hank Traynor. Meath seem to be a little bit more focused now. Stuart Mackenzie-Smith fouling Hank Traynor. Centre back suffering in the process. This is a man who made his debut against Louth in 1998.
Just in the earlier play here, you can see a lovely chance. And Evan Kelly will not be pleased. He was on his own there if he got that ball. That was another great chance for Meath.
So Kildare introduce another substitute. Pádraig Hurley is on for Alan Barry. Rory Curley normally plays as a half forward.
Now you've Ronan Sweeney playing straight up old-fashioned midfield now, taking his place, changing the half-forward line.
Graham Garrity almost. Anthony Rainbow back there to sweep up the loose ball. Killian Brennan out towards Ronan Sweeney. Darren Fay all over Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. Sideline ball quickly taken. Tyke Fennon's first touch just leaving him down. Cormac Murphy courageously going down on it. Nigel Nestor. The Meath crowd getting behind their team. Paddy Reynolds, who had such an impressive opening 15-20 minutes. Great run. Needs the support of Graham Garrity. 4 Kildare players around him. It's a terrible waste of possession. And Enda Murphy. Anthony Rainbow. Back to Rainbow in front of his own goal. Meath players say he picked it off the ground. I don't think so. Ronan Sweeney.
Yeah.
Here's Sweeney being challenged by Nigel Nestor. Wonderful atmosphere here now in Croke Park. Darren Fay coming to terms with the challenge of Stuart Mackenzie-Smith. Needs Niall McCaig to lend assistance. Back to Darren Fay. Meath playing an elaborate short passing game in their own half, which is not normally their style.
This is the controversial incident just a moment, though. Graham Gardy wasn't a bit happy about it. The loose control. Let's see this picket. Oh, indeed he did. Indeed he
touched
did.
it. He
yeah,
touched
Graham Gardy had a point. He went into the umpire giving off. Should have been a free in.
Shane McCaig's free, or rather Niall McCaig's free. Down towards Graham Garrity. Tears away again. Wonderful speed. The finish with the left boot is superb. Amazingly, it's his first point because he's been so impressive. Has had numerous opportunities, but now just 2 points between the teams. Thanks to Graham Garrity. Has this ability to get away from his marker.
Well, he's so powerful and he's so strong and so pacey and a very skillful player that's often overlooked because he contests everything so aggressively and so committed.
2 Kildare players go for the same ball. Charles McCarthy initiates a move. Nigel Nestor. McCarthy goes for the return. 3 Meath players lining up in front of the goals. Still McCarthy flicks it back to Hank Traynor, and that is over the bar. It's his second point in this Leinster semi-final. Now there's just 1 between the teams.
And Charles McCarthy must have taken about 20 steps where he offloaded to Hank Traynor, but he said thanks very much, swung it over. This guy's getting a name for getting scores now.
Kildare introducing Ken Donnelly, number 22. Stuart Mackenzie-Smith has been called ashore. In the last 5 or 10 minutes, Darren Fay was coming to terms with the challenge of the Kildare full forward. Confirmation of the substitute as Kildare find themselves now under intense pressure. This is Killian Brennan. They need composure now. The block down doesn't quite come far as Ken Donnelly, and it's Meath once more. Fouled. Niall McCaig. Richie Keeley from Dunshaughlin. Down towards Dahi Regan. Chance of a point, and he's taken it again, has he? Yes, the white flag is raised. 5 points for the corner forward. And Meath rejoice in headquarters. The sides are level in Croke Park. Dahi Regan scoring his 5th. And we have a whole new ball game here.
It's game on now, Marty, for the last 10 minutes or so here in Croke Park. It's the Meath comeback. I mean, one would never write them off. They looked in dire trouble. They've kept picking away at it.
Glenn Ryan is introduced by his manager. The man that's gone off is left half back Carl Ennis, as Glenn Ryan comes into the side.
They try and steady the ship, I've no doubt.
The breaking ball falls to Patrick Murray. A point is badly required, and Cormac Sullivan's handling is superb. Richie Keeling can play anywhere for club or county. The introduction of Keeley and Nestor seems to have given Meath the initiative at the moment. But it's their battling skills more than anything else. You haven't Meath beaten until you see them on the road home to Navan. And even then you'd have your doubts. Left half back, Tomas O'Connor. Richie Keeling gives it long. Graham Geraghty, the only Meath player, gets a touch. Kildare trying to compose themselves with the handling skills of Ronan Sweeney. Anthony Rainbow intercepts the pass that was intended for Patrick Murray. John Doyle now tries to get by Tomas O'Connor. Two Meath players converge on him. O'Connor fouls, free to John Doyle.
Well, I'd have to say the second foul, Marty, or I wouldn't even call it a foul. It was a very handy one, but he was certainly, his jersey was pulled on the lead up to it. We can see this here. He's been pulled back there. This is a handy one, fair enough. I wouldn't say a whole lot about that one.
But it was the accidental trip, really, that he got the free.
Actually, it's been a feature of the referee's performance. He's done quite a good job, but he's very lax on jersey pulling. And forwards, when they're trying to get away from players, the jersey pull is the one thing that brings you back into the clutch for the old tackling.
And it's the first time, actually, that we've seen as well a referee who quite deliberately wants to allow play to continue.
Oh, yeah, he's doing a pretty good job.
John Doyle from Allenwood in County Kildare to put the boys in white in front. 4 points for John Doyle. 29.5 minutes played in the second half. 1 point between the teams. Glenn Ryan, one of the finest footballers ever to come out from County Kildare. Former All-Star. His presence now could be vital. Hank Traynor gives it long. It's 2 against 2 up here. Graham Geraghty picked up by Glenn Ryan. Over fires Anthony Rainbow. Back to Ryan, who'll orchestrate things from a defensive perspective now for Kildare. Wonderful rob by Charles McCarthy. Tremendous passion in this Leinster football semi-final. The winners to play Dublin or Laois in the final. And you can see that semi-final tomorrow. But at the moment, it's Kildare and Meath. Was Graham Geraghty held? Torrey Curley. The challenge by Trevor Giles. Well, some people would say it was a little bit late.
Well, it looked like a foul, that last high ball that came in. Geraghty goes for these, very positive. You know, he's holding there, not allowing him jump his full height. He could have got one just as easily.
Meath still have possession. Half blocked. Here comes Graham Geraghty again, knocking it out. Far as corner forward David Crimmins. Touched on the ground. Referee observing closely, and he gives the free to Kildare. 4 minutes left in Croke Park. In real playing time. Very few delays.
Well, it's been a terrific second half, Marty. It's been a terrific match indeed. Lots of chances, lots of very positive and good football, lots of running, very attractive football to watch. I must say, a very enjoyable match.
And only 1 yellow card in the whole game.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been a mean or a nasty game. You know, it's been a very straight-up match. Both sides are going for it hell for leather. You couldn't call it a nasty game.
Trevor Giles. They come seeking an equaliser. Graham Geraghty. Damien Hendy with them. Easily intercepted by Mick Wright. And Kildare go at full speed in front of the Cusack stand. John Doyle. That has to be a free, as Darren Fay pulls down Ken Donnelly.
And that last giveaway by Graham Gertie was just, I would say, fatigued. Nothing. He's really ran himself into the ground tonight. That's a certain foul.
Has to be. And Sean Boylan, the master tactician, needs something on his 21st anniversary to pull this game out of the fire, but they've done it so many times. 1 point between the teams. Killian Brennan wanted the quick free to be taken. Patrick Murray used Tyke Fennan instead. The signal was clearly signposted and easily intercepted. Paddy Reynolds now pulled down. Has to be a yellow card for Tyke Fennan for not playing the ball. Personal foul.
Well, Tyke was the man that gave away, that played the ball on the last play. There's nothing happening here now. The referee has blown the whistle. It's just, he was so frustrated. He was making sure that there was nobody going to get away with the ball quickly.
That's the third yellow card of the game. Ray McGee coming on for Meath. It looks like David Crimmins is the player. That's the corner forward, number 15. Ray McGee has scored many crucial scores, points and goals for Meath. At the moment, the Royals trail by just 1 point. Glenn Ryan, inspirational leader. Killian Brennan running into a sideline, and the sideline going to be quickly taken by Nigel Leinster. Killian Brennan has to go back the sufficient distance. Ray McGee, eyes focused on the ball. We're into the final minute in Croke Park. Meath need an equaliser. Damien Hendy deemed to have fouled the full forward. Geraghty from Centralstown, and a chance to level this semi-final.
And this is a free that's really made for Ray McGee if he felt up to it, but he's just on the pitch. It's a very difficult one. They're going to leave it to Dahi Regan, in fact. Difficult angle.
Patrick Murray is called to the sideline, and Eddie McCormack has just been introduced as a substitute, and Eddie normally plays as a right half forward. This to level the match. 2 minutes added time as we approach the 70th minute of this semi-final. Andrew McLaughlin just requiring some attention. Graham Geraghty checking with the referee, Michael Hughes. How much time left? We're now into injury time here at headquarters. This to level and perhaps force a replay. He hits it well. It's going to hit off the post. No, it's not. It's gone wide. The chance for Dahi Regan, just centimetres wide.
Well, he's just broken the free taker's cardinal rule, Marty, putting it wide on your own side for a kid dog. He had to put that to the far post and hope it'd come around for him.
Think of Desi Dolan for Westmeath against Meath. Think of Dahi Regan for Meath against Kildare. Still time left. Charlie McCarthy loses possession. Paddy Reynolds is fouled. And it's another free for Meath. 1 minute to go in Croke Park. The free by Trevor Giles quickly taken. Meath have to get possession. They have it. Graham Geraghty. 3 Kildare players around him. Still Geraghty trying to force it out. He takes too many steps. It's a free out to Kildare. Geraghty is furious.
Well, it's one of these ones here again, Marty. You know, they go in. This is the part of Gaelic football I really hate watching. Players crowding in around, won't let him up. He's holding on as well now. You got to admit that. Can't get rid of the ball. I mean, this is so unsightly in Gaelic football. It's a crazy situation.
It's very frustrating. He did actually win the ball, which is a great skill.
Absolutely.
20 seconds left. Oh, magnificent fielding by Charles McCarthy. They have to engineer a score. They have to engineer a free. Meath on the verge of departing the Leinster Championship. High challenge. Graham Geraghty sends this ball in. Andrew McLaughlin, but Graham Geraghty was blatantly fouled. There was a high challenge in Geraghty, and he just literally threw a kick at the ball. Kildare come away with it. Oh, the wonderful finish here in Croke Park. Meath have it once more. Darren Fay. Niall McKay. Charles McCarthy. The pass was terrible. Picked up by Ty Fennan. Glenn Ryan has the ball. And Kildare have knocked Meath out of the Leinster Championship. Pádraig Nolan, in his first year as manager, has brought them to the Leinster final. Meath will be furious with that last challenge on Graham Geraghty, which seemed to be a high challenge and perhaps should have been a free. But that should not take away from Kildare's wonderful performance in this Leinster Championship semi-final. The Lily Whites have shown tremendous character. For Sean Boylan, it's bitter disappointment. For Captain Anthony Rainbow, it's a day of joy. Wonderful joy when you beat one of the great counties of Gaelic football, the men from the Royal County.
And you have to say, Marty, thoroughly deserved. They were out of it for long periods, as were Meath, but the better team over the 70-odd minutes were Kildare. And they're absolutely thrilled with this victory. This means a huge amount to them.
John Doyle, scorer of 4 points. Ty Fennan with 2 points. Kildare people go on the mobile phones. They applaud their team because in the opening 20 minutes it looked as if they were dead and gone. But their passion, their pride, their integrity was tested and they passed with honours here. This was a wonderful achievement for Kildare. 29,630 witnessed a wonderful game of football. Kildare the victors by just 1 point. Kildare 15 points, Meath 111.
Tom Mulligan and Liam